Somebody asked for a travelogue. Well, here I am, extremely early in the morning, waiting for the ferry to go to Nanaimo. On the ferry. It's one of the older ferries. Not quite as spiffy as the other one I showed you in my earlier video. Suffering from hypothermia. It's quite cold. I drove through some fog back there and got a little wet. That didn't help. Let me see. I got up extremely early. Went to Horseshoe Bay, which is up on the North Shore, and took the ferry across to Nanaimo. Fucking logging trucks. Have killing people, those things. Lots of people. Anyway, so I went across to Nanaimo. Then I headed north on the Island Highway. So it takes you over to Nanaimo, which is about halfway up Vancouver Island, which is the biggest island probably on the west coast of North America. If not South America as well. It's about the size of Belgium, apparently. If that helps. Smaller than Texas. So, yeah. So I got off at off the ferry at Nanaimo, up the island a little bit to Parksville, which is just north of Nanaimo, and now I'm kind of hung a left, and I'm going west towards Port Alberni, which is keep looking at the scenery here. I should be looking at the road. Port Alberni is I guess it's a port on the west. There's this enormous Alberni inlet that cuts across the island almost completely, almost severing the island. And Port Alberni is kind of at the end of it. And if you continue west from Port Alberni, you eventually get to the ocean. And at the ocean is Ucluelet and Tofino. And kind of a nice park as well. This is some sort of lake on the right here. This is the best travel log ever. Somebody asked me to do a travel log because I guess they like some of my other videos or whatever. So that kind of got me thinking about going to Tofino. So that's the plan. I've always wanted to do this. I should have done it this summer because it's a little cold now. This is one of the views on the way that I wanted to show you guys. This is McMillan Park or whatever. It's Cathedral Grove. So named because it's a stand of old growth trees, which are pretty freaking big. Actually, I'm just going to pull over here. Oops. I think I've just locked up the back. Take but a minute. Not a lot of people out today. Some big trees. Tell you, good call on the bringing the winter gloves because it's really freaking cold. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but these trees are big. Yes, they are. I don't know if you can get a sense of scale here because there's no people or anything standing around, so. But this is basically your typical West Coast forest. It's I guess it goes on for miles around. of course, we built a highway through it. That's right, motherfuckers. Progress. One other thing I wanted to point out about this place is that around October, around Halloween, people carve pumpkins and they place them all along the fences and shit around here. I think some of them are lit too, but it's pretty cool if you come through here in around Halloween. And I guess this guy is the first one of the season. Not super ambitious, but there you have it. He's molding a bit. Been here a bit, but so there you go. Film this a little bit through the highway too. It's kind of neat. See out of that thing. Lots of big trees. Here a big tree, there a big tree, everywhere a big tree. As one of my friends says, how many trees do you need to look at anyway? Okay, so I'm past Port Alberni, and I am on my way to Tofino by way of Ucluelet. So, bit of fog around here. More trees to look at. Oh, you guys probably can't see shit. Maybe that helps. Like 30 seconds of viewing before it freaking fogs over again. Maybe a bit of drizzle now too. Got part of my wet gear on because it's more for the cold protection than anything. There's a body of water over there. Some trees over there. A windy road in here. Sunny. Why they're redoing it. This video is going to be the shits too, driving into the sun. Okay, so I'm in Tofino, about-ish. I'm in, I guess this is Francis Bay. I don't know if this is... I've never actually looked around here before, but I mean at the different beaches and stuff. But I thought I'd just have a little snack here. Don't have any Lucas Aid in Canada as far as I know, so we drink this stuff, water, vitamin water. It's actually a nice day. I don't know if there's anything here. Can you even get down to the beach or what? Not terribly impressive waves. see if we can get down to the beach. Wreck of the Florencia. January 1861, the brigantine Florencia, homeward bound to Peru with lumber from Victoria. Strange place to go. I mean, if they're from Victoria. Became unmanageable and drifted helplessly to the north, to Nooka's area, where HMS Forward finally took her in tow, but Forward developed engine trouble and the luckless Florencia cut adrift, shattered on the islet in the bay. Which I guess would be that thing over there. Until 1930, Florencia Bay was known as Wreck Bay, a name still common usage. I made it down. I guess the wreck is out there somewhere. It's actually quite warm. You can see the massive amounts of driftwood, they litter pretty much every beach in British Columbia, as far as I can tell. I think it's from the logging activities. They lose log booms, and I don't know. There's a great history of logging in this province, and a certain amount of it gets away. As you know, motovloggers, double-decker. That's all we eat. We basically subsist on double-deckers and energy drinks. Well, it's pretty deserted here. I think I'm the only person on this friggin' beach. This is how the horror movies always start, isn't it? I gotta climb up this rickety ass friggin' staircase again. This is Wiccan-Inish Beach, a little further down. And I guess more of a surfing beach, I guess, because you don't have the access to the beach is a lot easier here, for one thing. Also, the waves seem a bit bigger. So I had planned to bring the other camera with the telephoto, but Mrs. Vancouver Island has stolen my camera. So you'll have to, those little specks you see off in the distance over there, those are all surfers, I think. I can barely tell with my eyes, so I'm sure the camera you probably won't even be able to see them at all. You think I'm just bullshitting. There's no surfers there. Maybe some flecks of seaweed or something. Yeah, it's not terribly impressive, is it? Oh well. There are indeed surfers. I guess this is a pretty good day for that. Get your dry suit on and hang out in the water. I don't think you'd want to get in there without a dry suit. But there you go. It's actually quite warm now. I think I might mosey up into town and see if I can't get myself a sandwich or something. Always thinking about his belly. Oh look, you can see surfers now. Surely that looks like seaweed walking itself out of the surf. Yeah, well, there you go. I was hoping to get a better look than this, but this is the airport, as you can tell from the helicopter. And it goes all the way down there. There's 3 enormous landing strips here, which you can see from like Google Maps. But and you might ask, why would a tiny little community like Tofino require such an enormous airport? I think you could probably land like a 747 here. But these things were constructed in World War II. So I assume that some of these buildings here are original, like this thing here is. I don't know how old that building is, but some of these buildings must be like that thing over there looks like something that would be built in, in the 40s. This thing looks old enough to be from the 40s. Here's the nasty fucking gravel road. I don't generally do gravel, but I thought I would do it just for the tourism value of my segment. If I wipe out the bike, it will definitely not be worth it. Although I do have new fairings coming, so hopefully it'll wipe out on the right side. If it is going to wipe out, which I hope it will not, obviously. This is the top of Radar Hill, which offers a view. Not sure why it's called Radar Hill. Perhaps there is a radar somewhere. That's a cell tower. Yep, more trees. There's a memorial here to the Canadians that fought in Kapyong in Korea in 1951. I'm not sure why they chose this location as the memorial, but oh, I see. It says right in the middle here. In 1997, the Government of Canada and the Government of Korea jointly declared the twinning of Pacific Rim National Park Reserve, which is what we're in. It's between Tofino and Ucluelet on the west coast. So they twinned this park with I don't know how to pronounce this, Haleo Haesang Sea National Park. Memorial to the men that fought on a particular battle, the PPCLI, also known as the Pickleys. The usual story ensues. Heavy Chinese attack. Oh, their position is overrun. They call in artillery on their own position. And all sorts of medals and honors ensue. Glad I wasn't there. That's all I can say. Although I'm sure the South Koreans are pretty happy that they were there. If North Korea is any indication what their lives would be like now. This is, they call it incinerator rock or something. And I think this is part of Long Beach, or is Long Beach. I don't know. I don't know how many Long Beaches there are in the world, but this is another one. I'm not even going to get off the bike this time. I mean, it's just another beach. Also, they want you to pay for parking here, so fuck that. Look at this fucker in the fucking right lane. Nice. Where'd you learn to friggin' ride? Sorry, drive. Imagine coming around the corner and finding that Yahoo in your friggin' lane. I know you're supposed to go on the outside to look, but I'm almost a little too afraid to do so. Oh, I had to stop at a little rest area. Legs are getting sore. I'll grab my imitation Lucasade here. Check out this river. Hopefully I won't follow my ass. Fuck. That would have been incredible video for YouTube. Everyone, I think the viewership of YouTube is largely interested in seeing people hurt themselves. Well, yeah. Fuck, that's clear. Looks like it's a glacier fed thing, right? It's probably as cold as can be. I guess I didn't show you guys the actual town of Tofino, but I can describe it for you. It's kind of, you know, it's like a sleepy little town, very small, and it's got, you know, a lot of coffee shops, and there's some nice restaurants there because there's a lot of resorts in the area, so it supports a fair number of restaurants and you know, kind of nice little coffee restaurant places, you know. And it's populated by generally a bunch of youngish hippie women. I assume all of the men are off in the fields growing marijuana, or they are out surfing, and that's essentially the women run these places to either launder the money or provide a means to live for their probably common law husbands and many children. At least that's how I see it. I'm not sure what the reality is. You have to go there and draw your own conclusions.